Hi, this is Dan Whitney with the Whitney Law Firm in Towson, Maryland. Today we're going to talk about the car dealer stole my down payment. So the question is, why would a car dealer steal somebody's down payment? Do they hate their customers? Maybe. More likely, they're just greedy, and the fact is they think they can simply get away with stealing the down payment. So I've sued many car dealerships here in Maryland, and they are capable of anything. One of the most significant problems that my clients run into here in Maryland is that dealers will steal a down payment, and they'll also sell trade-ins when financing is not approved, and then they leave the customer holding the bag, and they say, we're not going to give your down payment back, or we've already sold your trade-in, you're not going to get it back. And customers have no idea what to do. It's such a terrible situation. It's completely illegal. It's totally unfair. Yet many dealers do this. Now, in Maryland, there's something called a spot delivery. And what a spot delivery simply means is a car was delivered to a customer by a dealer. Delivery meaning the customer took possession. The car was delivered, in a sense, on the spot, and financing has not yet been finally approved. So why is that important? Well, if financing is not finally approved, that means, of course, it may fall through. And if financing falls through, that means that the customer is not going to be able to finance that car with the bank. And what the dealer is probably going to do is they're going to call up the customer and say, hey, bring the car back. The deal fell apart. We need our car back, and that's it. Now, in Maryland, when a dealer finds out that financing has not been approved, they have 4 days from the time of delivery to notify the customer in writing that financing has not been approved. A notice is also required to be given to customers at the time of delivery if financing has not been finally approved at the time of delivery, laying out the customer's rights. It's generally called a spot delivery notice. And what the notice sets forth is the customer's right to be notified within 4 days whether or not financing has been approved, or if it has not been approved. And if not, the customer has the right, as soon as they return that vehicle to the dealer, they're entitled to immediately, and that's in the law, immediately get back their down payment and their trade. And they get back 100% of the down payment. Now, dealers almost never provide written notice within 4 days. Customers usually find out 2, 3, 4 weeks. Sometimes it could even be months. They find out that financing has not been approved. Now, why is that a problem? That's a problem because in the scope of a week, if somebody turns a trade-in in, they still have their tags. And of course, well, at least in Maryland, if you don't turn in your license plate, you're going to start getting fined if the car is no longer insured. So people trade their car in, they think financing is done, they turn their plates into the MVA, and then when they get a call from the dealer saying, hey, come get your trade, they say, well, I've already turned in my tags. I thought everything was done. You told me financing was approved. And the dealer says, true to form, whatever, I don't care. Just come get your car, or, we're going to have it towed somewhere else. They don't care. Now, regarding down payments when financing is not approved, what dealers will often say is they'll call the customer and say, okay, financing has not been approved. Bring our car back. And the customer will say, okay, here's your car. Now give me my trade and give me my down payment. And the dealer often says, regarding the down payment, look, you drove our car for free for 2, 3, 4 weeks. You put 100 miles on it. We have to re-inspect it. We have to do some touch-up work, whatever. None of it matters. They're required to give 100% of the down payment back, but they will start to come up with excuses as to why the customer is not going to get their down payment back immediately. For example, I have a current case against a car dealer here in the Baltimore area where somebody put $5,000 down. They got called about 3 weeks later to come back, and instead of getting their $5,000 back immediately, about 3 weeks later they got a check for $135, and the check actually itemized what the deductions for, which doesn't matter because they're all illegal deductions. All the down payment has to be refunded immediately after the customer brings the vehicle back when financing is not approved. Now, that is what happens often, but even worse, well, equally bad, is when the dealer actually sells somebody's trade-in before financing isn't approved. And you would think to yourself, what kind of wretched organization would do such a thing? And I would say drive down a busy street and look to your left and right, and that's probably who's going to be doing these things. The new dealers do them, the used dealers do it. They all do. It just happens. It's just a fact of life that dealers sometimes sell the car before financing is approved. Now, this leaves the customer in a terrible spot. They have a car that they don't have financing for. The dealer wants it back. The trade-in is gone, and they don't know what to do. And often that's when they call a dealer lawyer or a dealer fraud lawyer like myself to say, can you help me? And the answer is yes, we can help, depending on where your trade is. Has it really been sold? Is it just waiting at auction to be sold? Sometimes dealers will buy it back from a customer who they sold it to in order to give it back. And sometimes it shakes out where the customer may be compensated the retail value of the trade that was illegally sold. That's happened a number of times. But that's certainly a violation of actual Maryland law, and then there's other causes of action, such as fraud, if a dealer tells somebody that financing really is approved but it's not, and violations of the Consumer Protection Act for providing misleading information, which is generally something along the lines of, yes, the deal's final, you don't need to worry about it, everything's done, this is your new car, go and enjoy it. But really it's not, because financing hasn't been approved. So that's a brief discussion on the perils of spot deliveries in Maryland when somebody thinks, consumers sometimes also don't really understand what does it mean if financing doesn't get approved. It's not really explained that means you got to give it back. We're not going to sell your trade. You should get all your money back. A lot of people just say, where do I need to sign? I just want to drive. I just want to ride. Tell me what I need to sign, and then have to kind of deal with these consequences as a surprise when these things come up. So I hope this has been helpful. If you were the victim of spot delivery fraud, or the dealer sold your trade or kept your down payment after financing was not approved, give me a call, Dan Whitney at the Whitney Law Firm. I'd be happy to provide a free consultation. I hope this has been helpful. If so, please consider leaving a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see a video on any other dealer fraud topics, of which there are many, please just leave something in the comments and I will make a video about the subject if I can. Thanks for watching. Take care.